I'm sick of summer, but I have sharpening to do. All right, we've got some Benchmade knives to sharpen. They're pretty dirty. I'm going to put them in the ultrasonic cleaner for a little bit, clean them up before I sharpen them. While we're letting that run, let's do the fixed blade. All right, we're going to use the old AMK-75 from AMKtactical.com if you want to check it out. I'm going to start off with a worn Cubitron 120 belt. Clean it up. Sorry about the noise, but it's hot as hell in here. I'm sick of summer, as you saw from the beginning of the video. It's 89 degrees here. It's 3:30. I'm sick of it. All right, Benchmades are 18 degrees on each side. So a burr should come up fairly quickly. This knife is not in that bad a shape. And I got a burr already. One more pass on this side. The thing about this S30V steel, it's super hard and the burr is tiny, tiny. It's very hard to see. I can see it because I've got my light up here and it's popped up all the way across the blade. So now I'm going to go to a 200 grit Trizac belt. And I get all my belts from Curry Custom Cutlery out in Hawaii. You can find them online. Now I'm going to a 600, 200 to 600. To 1200. See how pretty that looks? Now what I like to do is use a felt belt and take a little piece of leather and I just get that burr off of there. And then the felt belt gets any leftover burr off. Sometimes I like to take my brush and like to bring the fibers up on the felt belt. And see, I can see the micro burr popping back up again. Take our little piece of leather again. That burr off. Now we can go to the leather strop. Put a little compound on it. Then I like to take it off of the jig and then lower the edge angle a little bit more and strop that micro edge. And I'm going to go clean it off with some rubbing alcohol. So I went over there and cleaned it off with a little rubbing alcohol. And sadly, I don't have any hair left on my arms because I am constantly shaving my arms. And I don't know if you can see that or not. Can you see the hair on there now? You can see the hair on the blade. I have no hair. But anyway, it is shaving the hair off of my arm. So that is good and sharp. And now we got to do the 3 folding Benchmade knives. Now this knife is awful light. It looks like a Benchmade, but it does not say Benchmade anywhere on it. That tells me this is probably a Chinese knockoff. So we're going to sharpen it anyway. So let's put our belts back. And I don't think I'm going to put a polished edge on this. These little pocket knives, I'm going to stop at 600 grit on the pocket knives. So they're a little grippier. Still going to do 18 degrees. Well, let's hope it's 18 degrees. Because if it's not really a Benchmade, it may not be 18 degrees. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do the old-fashioned scratch test. So what I'm going to do is take my marker out, blacken the edge of what I'm going to sharpen, blacken that bevel out real good, and then we're going to do a little scratch test to see what the factory edge is. That's 18 degrees right there. So let's do a little scratch. You see that? That's 18 degrees. You see where the marker is missing? So let's do a little light pass. I'm telling you, that is not a Benchmade. That was awfully soft. See that burr come up so fast? Burr popped right up. That tells me it's not S30V steel. And a big burr at that. So we're definitely going to leave it grippy. Because if I polish it, it won't do any good. And we're going to leave it just like that. That's 600 grit on there, and we'll go to the next knife, but it's hard to see in the camera, but it's still a very polished surface, and it's sharp. It's very sharp. So I'll take that burr off. Let me go get the other knife out of the ultrasonic cleaner, dry it off, and we'll do the next. So here's the next one. This one does say Benchmade on it, and it's got some rust on it, some surface rust. So I'm gonna have to take my Dremel tool and clean that up, and I'll come right back. Clean the rust spots up, a little corrosion there. It's got a little nick in it right there, and that blade is kind of chewed up. There's several little nicks in the blade, so we'll get that out. And this one does say S30V steel. This one does say Benchmade on it. It's a little heavier than that other knife. So 18 degrees again. it's 18 degrees. And see, this was coming up as a burr also, but the burr is super thin. I don't think that other knife was a real Benchmade. I think it was a ripoff. This one's got a burr, but not a thick burr like that other one had. I can feel the difference. That's it for that knife. Looks good, nice, even. All of the nicks are out of the blade. I'll go remove the burr with a little piece of leather and then we'll go to the next knife. So this is the last knife we're going to do on this video, and I can tell it's dull, and you probably can too. If you see in the light there, see those flat spots on the blade? See right there, the reflection of the light? Light is your friend when you're sharpening. And if you know how to pay attention to that, you know that knife is dull. Now feeling it, it feels pretty sharp, but it should be a lot sharper than that. Now this one does look like a real Benchmade. S30V on it says Benchmade. He brought 4 knives, 3 of them said Benchmade on them, 1 does not. So we're going to sharpen the last one. $18 degrees. Do another pass. It's got a couple of little chewed up spots in it. I usually don't like going this aggressive. Alright, I got a burr all the way across the blade. I don't see any indentations in the burr. So let's go to 200. I like that. .600 grit. And there we go. That looks real nice. And I'm going to show you in the light. Let me take that burr off. Get my little piece of leather here. You can't see it, but there's a burr on there. Cut myself is what I'm going to do. Now can you see in the light? You don't see that reflection coming across the edge. I've fixed all the flat spots and all the nicks in the blade. Still got a little bit of a burr on it, but I'll clean that off with a piece of Scotch-Brite it's ready to go back to the client. All right, I turned off all the fans and the dust collector. I've got all 4 of the knives sharpened. I hope you got something out of this video. I'll put the description of the machine in the description and where I get my belts from. And I'd love to hear from everybody. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the comment section there. I'm Mike White with Sharpen Right Services in League City, Texas. We sharpen salon and barber and pet grooming shears, clipper blades, sewing scissors, and just about any knife. Thanks for watching.